remember those nights we'd spend in Old Town, all the roads we'd stumble down, my arm over your shoulder with our friend. Bar hopping through Chadwick's in Union, Patroy's, Murphy's, Irish tunes, and in nights is Southside routine. I know you hated it, but I love when you sing without those inhibitions. When you sing life for this mission, I'll never change a thing about the nights we'd sing and shout, 'cause when you'd childhood living is easy to do. All things that you wanted, I bought them for you. Graceless lady, you
Mike Richards, note to self. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. Good. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah,
It's an honor to be here.
absolutely. Look, I mean, Love Drunk, great new single. We've been jamming to it the past couple of days. Really good stuff, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's been a lot of work.
I bet. And the new EP, XYO as well. Good times are coming. Really exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work, a lot of coordinating.
Of course. That's what nobody sees, right? That's what social media doesn't show.
Yeah, it's a lot of behind the scenes.
That's great. So can I call you Mike, or do you have or do you want me to call you by your moniker? Up to you.
Mike is totally fine.
Perfect, Mike. So, we talked about your new single very quickly. It's the reason I love it, Mike, is because you paint like a sonic landscape. It's like a sonic landscape, but you keep the lyrics really natural, really to the heart. So it creates a really just beautiful mix. And so really bright song. And I want to talk to you about it in a minute. But thanks for joining us. And let's get on with the show.
All right.
So Mike, the year is pretty much over. 2020 is over. I basically a year ago you were playing Brock's Riverdale in Fredericksburg.
Brock's Riverside. Yeah.
It's so it's like, what a year. So I have to ask you, Mike, how would you categorize 2020 for you now that it's pretty much over?
It's been kind of interesting. Lots of ups and downs. Obviously, for a while there, I was like really just out of work. Right now, a lot of what I'm doing is like playing a lot of these cover gigs in order to make sure that I can fund my own work,
Sure.
like with Love Drunk and everything else. So financially, I was kind of running through my savings for quite a bit there. I mean, a lot of the like revenue and anything that comes from anything in music these days is touring.
Right, of course.
Even sell like records or anything. So from I think it was March for 3 months there, until early June, I was just quarantined, nothing. I had to find ways to make do. Everybody was doing the whole just streaming thing, and that's really the only thing that kind of got me by with like that and some back payment. But as soon as June 1 hit, they had phase 1 come out, and I got all the phone calls in the world, and it just seemed like it was a little weird to be out, but I ended up getting fully booked through 2020. So now I have gigs all the way up until January.
That's great.
So that's good. But it's just also trying to roll with the punches and make sure that I can like sustain everything, and paying for a record isn't easy. So
it's certainly not cheap. But it feels like everyone went through some sort of like rough period at some point, and you seem to came out okay. We're glad you did. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely, Mike. Let me talk about your childhood for a minute. You grew up in Virginia. So when you were 7-8 years old, you just couldn't stand math, right? Like you went to this like math science classes, and like it just seems like you were so young and you unconsciously already decided, Mike, I'm not gonna be an accountant. I'm not gonna. This is not the jam for me, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do, but I just knew that I was like, this class is kind of boring. I don't know, man. Like, I'm like, I was that kid that like I would go through and I'd get the concept, and I was like, all right, great, I'll pass your
Yeah.
test. But like, I would go home and do home trouble for that a lot. But I was just kind of like, all right, I get this thing. Like, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
And so I saw these kids just kind of leaving the class and going and doing something else with like boxes and what instruments, clarinets, stuff like that. And I was like, that seems kind of cool. Let's go do that instead of just sitting here in this class. So it was
Yeah.
like, I'm very much one of those people that like, if you give me something to do like with my hands,
Hmm.
I'm there, man. Like I just feel so much more comfortable. So that's just how it started. Just like didn't want to go to math class, so I took like violin. Didn't want to go to science class, so I took like band class. I did clarinet and saxophone. And then when I got into middle school and high school, it just was like, all right, do you want to go like just type on a computer and do all this stuff, or do you want to go play this instrument? And I was like, I'd rather play the instrument.
I
So,
love it, dude. Well, we're the luckiest for it, of course. And you started, you picked up the guitar, Mike, and you started learning some songs from the radio, right?
yeah.
What are some of these songs that you first started remembering,
Oh,
practicing?
the first song that I ever played was Eleanor Rigby by the
Oh,
Beatles.
you started with Eleanor Rigby. Nice.
Yeah, I love the Beatles. So they're one of my biggest influences. I like grew up just listening to them all the time, and it would drive my parents crazy because I'd sit there and sing to every single song, like on long car rides and all this at the top of
So
my
do you
lungs.
like all the Beatles, or are you like, one of those that is like, no, I like the Beatles when they got high, or are you the Beatles when they were like young and naive, or are you just the whole spectrum?
I like all of them.
Yeah.
Everybody, the only thing that I can't get with, and I feel like this is so bad because I feel like he does get a bad rap, is like Ringo. I can't listen to any of Ringo's like own stuff. Like it's kind of
Right.
like,
Poor Ringo, man.
yeah, ugh, drummers have it rough, man.
Yeah. That's great. So you start with Eleanor Rigby. That's fascinating stuff. That explains,
Eleanor
yeah,
Rigby.
and that explains a lot of your songwriting. Actually, now that you mention it, it's very Beatles-esque, your songwriting. Yeah, the characters, the themes. I like it.
That's a huge compliment. I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, listen, absolutely, absolutely, Mike. So after this, in middle school or early high school, you started a band, right? The Offset.
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about this band. Just what do you remember from these days with your mates?
Well, it kind of started in high school, really. We spent a lot of time just like in like a church basement, actually recording and just like redoing things and just like listening to ourselves and seeing how we could do things better. Just hashing things out. And then eventually we started getting a couple of gigs around town. But like not a lot. We ended up doing a lot where I would go busking with my guitarist and other backup vocalist Bird. And we just like bust through the old town streets and all that. And just would do that to make some extra money. Just, it was a little bit fun too. We got to meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
And eventually we started getting up for the wheels, which was kind of a cool experience. It just taught me a lot about working with different people. We were just mainly
Sure.
just a rock band in college that were just having some fun and just hoping to get somewhere. And it kind of fell apart. Eventually my bassist had a kid. My drummer moved to New York and got engaged. And my guitarist started going into college for graphic design. So I was like, all right, well, I got to do this myself. And here we are.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. Yeah, it seems like music was like it for you. I love that. Absolutely.
Ups and downs.
Yeah. And that goes in hand with your moniker, right? A note to self. From what I understand, it's all about going in, kind of like, listen, this is my way of life, this is my spirit, and there's no turning back, right? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Well, I kind of copped it from a friend too. It's kind of like a 3-part. So it was my best friend's AIM name growing up, and so I always thought that was kind of cool, like a note to self. And for a while, actually, Bird came back, my guitarist from the Offset, and we were just doing it as a duo. So it was a 2-piece.
Oh, interesting.
So a note to self became that. And then it's also, just that same thing. It's just like a reminder to myself that no matter what, like, it's like going to a country and trying to learn the language. It's like you got to immerse yourself in it in order to like really dive all the way in. It's either sink or swim at that point. So
Nice. Nice. Well, there you go.
Mhm.
You know, like I applaud you for that. Of course, we love music here, and we you know we talk about it all day, so we definitely appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit about your music. A thousand days after. We loved it. We loved it,
Yeah.
Mike. I mean, it's 5 songs, 22 minutes of great music, and it's a good mix, right? Because it takes you on this. It's like a journey. It's really interesting stuff. You know, the title track
Mhm.
is great. I wanted to talk to you about Ubuntu, right? Because
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, Ubuntu is something like I am because we are in African, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's no real like word for it, I guess, in the English language.
Hmm.
It's really just like the best way that it was described to me was you have a group of friends,
Yeah,
everybody's hungry, and you got a plate of fries. And you set down the plate of fries on the table, and you're just like Ubuntu. You take care of the whole. Like everybody's just kind of like, oh, great. Like somebody's just here. We're appealing to the humanity in all of us.
that's great. No, it's a great song, and of course you work with Jack Bryant on drums. You know,
Mhm.
John Brooks engineered it. You know,
Mhm.
Johnny Franks on bass. You know, you had a nice group of teammates here. What did you
Mhm.
learn from working, you know, with all these separate parts that you're taking to your new EP? You know.
Well, it was interesting because, well, Johnny was my bassist from the offset, so I already kind of had a rapport with him. It taught me a lot about just trying to learn how the writing process goes with working with other people. I shipped something out to my friend Ray Herring even on for the keys out into Nashville, and just like learning how to like just get parts shipped in from a different like location in the country was
Interesting.
interesting. Just like, yeah, everything navigating it, it really helped me kind of put together a full team of people that just allowed for the creative process to handle itself, while also just knowing that there's certain people that can handle that business side that I don't have to think about.
Yeah.
Um, it was definitely a really long process. It took me, I think, about a year to get the whole thing recorded.
Mhm.
Just like with life and working with schedules, and figured out eventually, especially with this record, like knowing that once you get all those pieces together, you get back into the studio, you get
Yeah.
everybody just in lined up. It just helped this whole record get done efficiently, which this one got done in like 2 weeks. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. Mike, was there any song in XYO that the pandemic just completely like transformed it from what you thought you were gonna do before, and then like this happened in March and it just became something else?
I mean, I think all of them,
All
like
of
to
them.
be honest, with the exception of Euphoric Dream. I think Euphoric is kind of like basically how I kind of envisioned it.
Yeah.
Love Drunk, I literally just sat down and I just played 4 chords, and I sang to it, and I put it on a loop pedal and just went, and was just kind of like, all right, well, this is going to be the one that I'm just going to take to these guys. Ben Tufts is a drummer that's like just a local legend.
Yeah.
Buddy Spear is just a monster of a guitarist, and he's just super creative with the way he like thinks. And Eric Scott, he's a bassist that's out of North Beach, Maryland.
Cool.
Just another really creative guy, just like one of the best musicians I've ever met. And I just wanted to see what they could do with this, because I was kind of like, these guys all have their own clout, they have their own like ideas, and I want this to be like an empty canvas that they all can like kind of throw something on and see how this pans out. And it turned out just fantastic. And I think it's this and another track that's coming out, The Other Side, are like the two biggest highlights on this record, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
Didn't that even The Other Side, there's like a train beat going on with
Yes.
it, and
It's
it just
beautiful.
adds, oh my lord, it just adds so much to it. So it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely a great tune, Mike. So listen, you're being so generous with your time. There's a rumor that you may play a song for us. Is this true, or is this internet rumors?
Yeah, I can absolutely do that. I don't know how my dog's
Wow.
gonna feel. She just like popped up over here. She just wanted to be close to something.
Oh my God, that's your security, your manager, your publicist right there. What's your
Right.
dog's name?
Oh boy. Come here, sweetie. Come here. Over here.
That's nice.
There you
Look at
go.
that. Look at that guitar. Beautiful guitar.
Yeah. Oh, it's my favorite.
Mike, I gotta ask you actually, since you're like, I've always wanted to ask this to a good guitar player, so this is finally remember. Could I give a guitarist like you, like a quality guitarist, any guitar, and like you make it sound right, or are you like specific, like you have your own type that you need to get your sound?
I mean, I don't necessarily need my own type. I think it's more just like everybody has their comfort, so really, I think you hand someone a guitar, they're just going to kind of get used to the way they're used to holding it. It's about the way you sit. It's about the way you just like, feel it all out. So
Nice.
I think they're all pretty much the same thing, unless you hand someone like a ukulele and you're like, here you go. Even the ukulele, you figure it out, but it's literally a language. It's another language.
Well, you're a musical soul. I feel we could give you anything and you'd make great music out of it. That's the vibe.
I'll take it.
Cool, man. So what are you going to play for us, Mike?
Love Drunk, actually. Just a little acoustic rendition.
Oh, fantastic. Can't wait. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. They say our hearts are wild creatures. That's why our ribs are a cage. And if my creatures should be tamed, I believe it's you who turn the page. We rise, we fall, we run, we crawl, we lick our wounds to stop. Your heart with mine, we soon may find we knew exactly what to do. I said I love you, you got me so love drunk. I always think of you when I'm all alone. Words have no meaning, take what I'm feeling and keep it with you. We're far apart, you got me so love drunk, love drunk, love drunk. You got me so love drunk, love drunk. You got me so love drunk. We rise, we fall, we run, we crawl, we lick our wounds and start anew. Your heart with mine, we soon may find we knew exactly what to do. I said I love you, you got me so love drunk. You always think of you when I'm all alone. Words have no meaning, take what I'm feeling and keep it with you. We're far apart. You got me so love drunk, love drunk, love drunk. You got me so love drunk. You got me so love drunk.
Unbelievable. That's a hit single right there, Mike. That's how you want to start the year. Finish this year, start 2021 with a single of that magnitude. Listen, it's going to be a big year for you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
A note to self, fantastic. New EP, XYO coming soon. And that was the first single, Love Drunk. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Absolutely. It's great to meet you.
Same. Let me leave you with this. You're a Ravens fan, right?
I am not, actually.
You're not. Okay, there you go. Then never mind.
I'm a big Steelers fan, actually.
Steelers fan. Okay, so even better. Perfect. You guys are doing great. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep. Thank you. Take care.
All right, Mike. Take care.